Welcome to the Sigma Empath podcast. This episode could be very, very divisive, very, very contentious. We're going to talk about relationships. Be patient with me on this one. I'm expressing perhaps a biased perspective, perhaps a personal perspective, but as always, the objective of this community, the objective of this podcast is to invite debate, is to open the door for people to express themselves from their perception, their personal experiences, to share insight, to share wisdom. Disagree respectfully. Agree with love and kindness. Also, disagree with love and kindness. So, relationships. In particular, ladies, are you ready for this? I don't want to sound misogynistic because I'm not. I am pro-feminism, but there's a downside to feminism. And coming from the perception of a man, my perception of the modern woman, and I talk maybe in particular of what I call the narcissist woman. I survived a narcissist woman, by the way. I hope you like the sweatshirt. It is available. If you go to the link in the description, I have an inspirational apparel line collection that you can buy. And this is one of them. I survived the narcissist, male or female. I survived the narcissist. Welcome to the Sigma Empath podcast. Here's my companion. My companion remains neutral, no biases, just listens to your feedback, to my opinions, to my rant. This is the rant edition of the podcast. Relationship with the modern woman. According to some statistics and some surveys, 1 in 6 humans are now considered to be narcissistic. And from my perception, women have become very narcissistic, and if they're not narcissistic, at least very selfish. And this is a recurrent theme that I see on social media. The question, where are all the good men? Why have men given up on pursuing women? Let me share my take on this question. Why have the good men given up on pursuing women? Under good men, I mean the kind, the respectful, the honorable, the emotionally intelligent, the vulnerable, the courageous man who has learned to self-regulate, who is well-balanced, who is secure in his manhood, who is not toxic, who doesn't need to control, who is not manipulative. The good man. The man who is often overlooked because, strangely enough, a lot of women, and I'm going to keep reiterating this, I'm coming from the perception of a man. My opinion is going to be automatically biased, but I want your input to put me back on track if I need to be. Spank me back into line, back into shape if I need to. I can only give my take, and I can only invite the perception of other men, what they've experienced, and the perception of women. Are we right? Are we wrong? Are we partially right? Is it gray? Is it dependent on individual scenarios? But on an average, here's what I'm seeing. The good men are being taken advantage of. Women in the modern era of feminism is what they call themselves empowered, independent women. When I now hear a woman say, I'm independent and I'm empowered, I have now learned, because I survived the narcissist woman who claimed all those things, I have now learned that this is code for I'm going to do what I want, when I want, how I want, and with who I want, because I'm independent. Now, what I hear is I'm selfish and I don't give a damn what you think. I'm not going to take your emotions, your feelings into consideration. I don't need to respect you because I'm going to do what I want, because I can. And for me, independence means I make my own money, I drive my own fancy car, I live in a nice apartment or a nice house, whatever that looks like. If you're a materialistic type of person, these are the standard traits that define success. In order to be independent, I would imagine you need to have financial resources that allow you to do these things. But you have all these things as a woman, which gives you the freedom to do what you want. Independent means I have the freedom to do all of these things. Go to Cancun and get drunk and get wasted and have fun with whoever I want. I can go to nightclubs with my single friends. I can let my boobs hang out on social media. I can sell sex on social media to get likes. I can let my ass hang out. All those kind of crude things that we sing. I hope I'm not saying too much and really setting myself up for some hate. But I'm inviting the debate, a respectful debate. And so the independent woman, the modern independent woman, does all these things as a sign of her freedom. But for me, independence, again, is I can do all these things, but because I respect, and the operative word here is respect, because I respect my man, I'm not going to flaunt myself and let other men drool over me. I'm not going to invite men and make other men think they can have a piece of my ass, my bum. You want a piece of this bum? You know what I mean? And so the modern woman, the selfish woman, is doing all of these things while still expecting the man to provide, to open the door, to protect. Honey, what was that noise outside? Can you go check it out? Yeah, sure, honey. Can you put out the trash? All the cliche, stereotypical, sexist, misogynistic things that men are expected to do. Women still expect us to do that. And I think most men are more than happy to do that. But now it's a question for the men. Well, what's in it for me? I'm doing all these things for you. I'm paying for your food. You're living rent-free. I open the door for you. I put out the trash. And all you're doing is going out there having fun with your friends, flaunting yourself for other men to fantasize and drool over you. And so a lot of the good men have decided, not to mention, oh, by the way, if a man is kind and just gives a compliment, some of the women will belittle us and humiliate us when, you know what, I was just giving you a nice, kind, respectful compliment. And you belittle us rudely. And so men, a lot of good men have reached the point of saying, you know what, forget all y'all. I'm going to be single and I'm going to find happiness in being single because I do not want to be disrespected. Men, let me hear from you. Ladies, let me hear from you. Is it valid for women to live this independent, modern independent lifestyle? Is a man insecure if he would prefer you didn't go out with your male friends who, as a man, we know what that male friend wants. He wants to tap that ass. That's the reality. And a lot of women, they know this, but you'll still want to hang out with your male friends. Is that allowed? Is it disrespectful? If you want to honor and elevate your man, should you be allowed to hang out with your male friends? Should you be allowed to go and party with your single friends who are living a single lifestyle, doing single things with a woman who's in a committed relationship? There's a bit of a conflict of interest. It's confusing. So a lot of men, the good men, we have decided I'd rather be alone and feel respected than to get into these toxic relationships that bring little or no value to my manhood. I want to feel like a man. And now women will say, well, if you want to feel like a man, act like a man and stop being so bloody insecure. Stop looking at my phone. Stop asking me questions of what time I got home and who I was with. Just be a man. Man up already. Which of those two is healthy? Ladies, I really want to hear your perception of it. I know that there are some old school women out there who will definitely understand what I'm saying. And then there are some modern women, younger women who will be like, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an insecure man. You just want a woman to be submissive. You might have a point. Do I want a woman to be submissive or do I want to feel respected? Men, let me know. What's more important to you? For me, I want to feel like I'm being honored and respected. That maybe is the most important thing a man wants to feel. Feel honored. Make me feel like the king. A king. I will make you feel like my queen. My queen. I will elevate you. I will protect you. But in order for me to do those things, it's got to be a two-way street. It doesn't have to be tit for tat. Going back to the traditional ways, the man pays for dinner, the woman gets a free meal. Now the women want a free meal, and they want to be able to do all the single things. So again, help me understand. This is the Sigma Empath podcast. I've gone down a bit of a non-empath rant, but maybe it does tie into the empath, because the empath is all about respect. The empath is anti-narcissist, not just extreme narcissism, just narcissist selfish behaviors. And as an empath man, I don't want a woman who is selfish, self-absorbed, disrespectful. I would rather be single. Let me know what you think. We look forward to hearing from you. And again, please keep your disagreements friendly, respectful, honest. And thank you for indulging me in this out of context Sigma Empath rant edition. Thank you, everybody. Oh, and by the way, this has been focused mainly on the men's side. Women, let me know. Has the modern man, what has changed in the modern man? What do you need and what do you expect? What would you like for the modern man to bring to the table? That would also be interesting for the modern man to understand how to maybe meet in the middle and find ways to have healthy relationships. Or are we just simply entering an age where fidelity, monogamy are just simply no longer the way to go, that we are just simply now going to move into an era of multiple partners, much more freedom? And by the way, over the years, I've had a lot of friends who are swingers, who have lived that lifestyle, and it's worked wonders for them. I guess ultimately it's a question of getting two people to agree to the same rules, to live by the same core values, to be compatible. Ultimately, that's the formula for success. But it's becoming harder and harder to find compatibility, in particular if you are a decent, respectful, kind, caring, nurturing man.